Welcome back to another episode of The Debrief. I'm your host, Summer Hashmi, joined by my co-host,
Sophia Palumbo.
And today's episode's called The Body Issue.
Today we will be talking about ESPN's Body Issue. This was a magazine that ran for 10 years from 2009 to 2019. As mentioned, it ended. It was kind of controversial, so we kind of wanted to go over why it was controversial, the framing of the female athletes compared to the male athletes, stuff like that. And just basically, the history, the run of it, maybe some of our favorite pictures, how we feel about the whole thing. That's just what we want to talk about today. So to start, just to dive right into the history of the issue, it was intended to rival Sports Illustrated's swimsuit issue. ESPN claimed that it was a celebration of the athletic form, and it started in 2009 where athletes were just kind of semi-nude, like the women were still in their bras, like stuff like that, but then by 2010 they were fully nude, but they were still framed in such a way that you wouldn't see like for the women you wouldn't see their actual breasts, and for the men you wouldn't see their actual genitals, I guess. So it wasn't like full nude, but they were definitely nude. The pictures were basically, some of them were framed in a very athletic way where they were actually posing and doing their sport, but just naked, and other times they were just kind of chilling, laying by the pool, or in the case of the LPGA golf girls, one of them was just kind of sitting on the on the golf cart. So it really depended on just what the photographers felt like doing and how comfortable the athlete was. So just to also go over Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, it started in 1964 and it's still running to this day. And it started because sports were slow in the winter and they wanted to basically boost sales. And so the swimsuit issue was created to do this in the winter season. And it featured models and celebrities, and a female athlete did not appear on the cover of it until 2016, and that was Ronda Rousey. So it definitely was not sports related, and I know that in the modeling field it was kind of heralded as like one of the top ones next to Vogue even. I know Cindy Crawford was on the cover of it, like girls like her. It's like she's a model, like she's nowhere close to an athlete. So it's just kind of funny that it's Sports Illustrated, but
there's models on the cover.
Yeah, basically. So the ESPN's version was supposed to be like a more athletic take on it, and their quote for it, their main motto was "Every body has a story." So it's created to celebrate the athletic form. So to just start with going over how the females were photographed and framed compared to the males, it was actually quite even in terms of what they call active and passive photos. Active is when they're actually performing an action required in their sport, and passive is when they're just kind of posing or lounging. And it was actually really equal in that regard, and it was also really equal in terms of the amount of female athletes and male athletes that were photographed each year.
Yeah.
So they did a really good job on that. I would say it's actually a very equal magazine in terms of coverage.
Yeah, I agree.
Issue.
Yeah, because they have a couple of there's a basketball player, Blake Griffin, and he's just holding this circle.
Yeah.
Right, like it has nothing to do with basketball.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot like that. Just going through the pictures now, like even Jamie Anderson, she's just kind of standing there. Letitia Buffoni, she's just kind of standing there. Well, she's jumping, but like...
Catherine David daughter. She's also just she's fixing her ponytail.
Yeah, Bryce Harper just kind of standing there.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
They're just kind of standing there.
Specifically.
Yeah, they're just kind of standing there, yeah. So it's just how do you feel about the pictures? Let's start with that.
What is the need for this?
Yeah.
Like I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like that person, but I feel like stuff like this can, like, lead to, like, other issues.
Right.
Like,
In
that
terms
whole
of
concept of body dysmorphia.
Dysmorphia,
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think, I don't know. Like, you see stuff like this, and it's like, okay, like...
Do you not think it's promoting a healthy body image?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't. Like, I don't... I would put this in the same category as, like, swimsuit models. I don't think that's necessary.
I completely disagree.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, like, I've had my own forms of, like, body image issues growing up.
For sure.
So, like, stuff like this does not make me feel good.
I totally understand that, but I don't think it's the same as models. Because these pictures, they are not, it's still an athletic form, but it's different body types. Like, you would not see, like, for example, a girl that's totally ripped, like, I'm looking here at Clarissa Shields, like, she would not be typically considered a model type of beautiful that is typically on a Sports Illustrated cover.
Yeah.
Like, she's muscular, she's ripped.
But why do you have to be naked to show that?
That's true.
Like,
I understand that,
you can easily do, like, if I'm wearing a tank top,
Yeah.
like a razorback tank top, you can see my back.
Yeah.
A decent amount of my back to know that I'm ripped. You can see my arms.
Yeah.
In a way that you know I'm ripped.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't need to be naked.
Yeah, so if she's...
Right?
So in this picture, she's holding the boxing gloves in front of her breast. So if you're saying it's unnecessary, she can just have, like, a tank top on and be standing there. Because we can still see, I guess, the main point is, like, her abs and her
it's about
arms.
the physique, right? That's what this whole... the body issue's about.
Yeah.
So then you can easily show off the body without it being naked. And, like, I get where you're coming from, and I get that it's a thing. I just don't think that it's necessary. Like, I saw some of these photos, and I'm like, they're kind of weird.
Yeah, they definitely make you...
weird.
I've been on this website a couple times now just for research and preparation, but, like, definitely the first time, even the second time I went on it, the instinct was to feel uncomfortable. Like, I felt naturally uncomfortable because it's weird to...
Like, I'm
it's
sorry,
weird to see
these
them
people,
like this, yeah.
And it's different for the individual shots.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of group shots in here.
Yeah.
Imagine being butt naked around your teammates. Like, that is awkward, in my opinion.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know if because they're in the locker room together, they're used to it, or
and, like,
what, but...
Like, the other half of this is, what about the athletes who don't look like this? Who aren't ripped? Now, like, how do they feel? How do they feel looking at this stuff? Because I can tell you there's a bunch of athletes who are not, like, ripped necessarily. Like, Photoshop level ripped.
I think a good example of this is Vince Wilfork. It looks like he's maybe a defensive player. He looks like a football player. I don't know all of his tea, but, like, he's definitely not a typical, like, looking at him, like, he's a defensive tackle. He has, like, a bit of a stomach on him. His thighs are a bit thicker. His arms look muscular, but they're not, like, the typical of what we're seeing with, like, Dwayne Wade, who's right next to him on the website.
But how many of those are there? That's the thing, right? Like, most of these photos are showing ripped people.
Yeah, no, you're right. They are.
Like, I think I saw a pregnant woman on there.
Yeah,
like,
that was really cool.
Yeah, like, I think they're doing a decent... I think, like, some people might get the wrong idea. And it might not do what they're intending to do by doing that. You know what I mean?
The wrong idea, do you mean, like, saying that this is the most
like, this
attractive type of body? Is that why?
This is what an athlete should look like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand what you mean by that, yeah.
Like, this is what an athlete should look like. This is how they should be. And if you're not like that, then maybe you're not an athlete. Maybe this is me stretching and digging a little too deep into it.
No, I think that's a fair point. If that's how you feel when looking at these pictures, like, I could totally understand why they would generate that kind of reaction.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm, like, I think it's a very interesting...
like, concept,
but it's not for me. Like, I would not buy that magazine.
Yeah.
But I also don't promote swimsuit models. Like, I'm not buying a magazine with a swimsuit model on it.
Yeah.
I think that's the stupidest thing that Sports Illustrated did.
Yeah.
Like
that, these, like, there's natural poses in here where, like, it's like, what does this have to do with sports? Like, there's a picture of Rob Gronkowski holding a piñata over his penis, and he's just standing there, and it's like, what does this have to do with sports?
But I'm like,
but at least it's still athletes that they're featuring, whereas Sports Illustrated is literally just, like, models. It has nothing to do with sports.
Yeah, but what does this have to do with sports? Neither of them have anything. Like, why can't you have an action shot from a hockey game or a football game? There's some interesting things you can do.
Yeah.
Having them in their uniform. Right? Like, we talk about, for example, gymnasts.
Yeah.
In their leotards and how some of them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, that is how I feel looking at these photos.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of people shared that same opinion, and that's why it ended. The quote that ESPN gave out when they announced that they would be ending it is because consumer habits are evolving rapidly, and this requires ESPN to evolve as well. So I think that, I guess there was an increase in controversy, an increase in people complaining about it, like, not understanding the point of it. But they
what
still...
really is, like, I know they're trying to promote athleticism.
Yeah.
And they're trying to show the athlete's body, but what does that really do?
Well, for them, sell magazines.
Yeah, but, like, what's the bigger picture here? What was the point of this? Really?
Well, I'll read what they said. For 11 years, the body issue has showcased the world's greatest athletes, the muscles, skin, features, and scars that make them who they are. What we've learned, every body has a story. So I think that, yeah, the ultimate goal is to sell magazines, but I think it really was supposed to be a celebration of the athletic form, even if it's Hanley Ramirez ironing a shirt.
Like, I don't know. That to me, I can see why it ended.
Yeah.
Like, that makes, I don't know. I think they could do a lot better in terms of magazine covers.
Yeah, well, it started with Serena Williams. Like, they weren't sure how athletes would feel, if they'd feel comfortable doing this. But then she was on the cover of the first ever issue. And I think that because she was on it, athletes were like, okay, like,
this is okay now.
Yeah, because she's obviously, like, the queen. So it's like, if it's okay with Serena, then, like, it's okay with everybody.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, as an athlete, I would be very uncomfortable doing this. Yeah. I would never do that.
Yeah. Very fair, but...
Like, Rolling Stones has some really cool magazine covers, and they're not naked.
Yeah, you don't...
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of really cool magazines out there. Vogue. Mm-hmm. Actually, Vogue is a bad example. But they've done some really interesting magazine covers without their models being naked.
Oh, 100%.
Right? So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a particular fan of this. I know you don't mind it, and you're kind of indifferent, but yeah. I don't. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. And, like, I have to give them credit where credit is due. Yes, it was equal in the amount of active and passive pictures in between male and female
100%.
athletes, so I'll give them that. But at the end of the day, so in 2019, ESPN only dedicated 5.7% of their airtime to women's sports. That was in 2019, the same year that the last issue of the body issue was released. And women are equal in the body issue, but they are not anywhere close to equal when it comes to their actual network and their broadcasts.
That's everybody. Every single one of them. I think the only one who has been remote, and again, I don't really know much about the U.S. media platforms and what their situation is, but in Toronto or in Canada, TSN is the only one. And I'm not a big TSN fan.
Yeah.
Just because the sports I watch are on Sportsnet, so I don't really watch TSN.
Yeah.
But TSN covers both WNBA and PWHL. They have the licensing to both. They're the only ones.
Mm-hmm. But I think, like, the main takeaway from this is that they are willing for it to be equal when they can profit off of a woman's body and posing her naked, but they are not willing to be equal when it comes to showing the actual athleticism.
Yeah. Well, the other half of this is, and that I wanted to point out was, okay, yeah, they're not doing, like, the point of this is not to sexualize them.
Yeah.
But it's still sexualizing them. Like, let's be so for real.
Yeah. I feel like when it's an individual thing of whether if you look at these pictures, you can put, like these pictures are not inherently sexual. Like, I don't think, the ones... But I totally understand how they can be taken in a sexual nature, even if they aren't posed in a, like, quote-unquote, like, seductive way or something.
Well, the golf one could easily be the LPGA...
Girls?
Tour one?
The
yeah,
women?
Easily. Caddy girls.
Yeah,
in short skirt,
yeah.
Easily. That's the first thing I saw when I saw that.
Yeah.
Even the one with Serena Williams. Even the one with the U.S. softball team. Like, there's so many of them that, even though that's not meant to be, like, Swin Cash, the one with her leg up, with the basketball in between.
Yeah.
Like, even though it's not intended to be sexualized, easily it can be.
100%.
Because there's a lot of weirdos out there who get off on a lot of weird things.
Oh, no, for sure. And you can say the same thing for the men, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's obviously very easy to sexualize these pictures.
Yeah. And that's my other issue with this. Like, why can we not just have a photo of a hockey player and her hockey equipment on the ice taking a really cool slap shot?
Because I think that's been done before. Like, we have pictures of whoever
But it's
on
a
the
sports
ice.
magazine. It's a sports magazine. And there's also really creative ways to get, like, I don't think I've ever seen a photo of a football player doing a touchdown dance on a magazine.
Like on the cover, you mean?
Yeah. Or, like, there's this one, I just remember this one time, I think Tyreek Hill was still playing for the Chiefs. He jumped into the crowd and took pretended like he was taking a selfie. And that was his celebration, like, thing. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that couldn't go on the cover instead of this? Like, there's so many cool moments in sports. Connor Bedard doing the Michigan.
I know what you mean.
Like, I know it's done before, but it's a sports magazine. Sports is not anything different. It hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. Or maybe focus on different sports. There's so many really cool figure skating moves that potentially could be a cover. I don't think I've ever seen figure skating featured on a magazine cover.
Right.
Or on socials. Mm-hmm. What about track and field? So many cool things you can do with track and field. Mm-hmm. Like, there's different ways I think that they can do it without them being naked. That's just my prerogative.
Yeah, they definitely don't have to be, but I feel like if somebody has the idea, ESPN approves it, they do it, and you find athletes that are comfortable with it, then you might as well do it. And it was successful for 10 years.
Then Karens came along and were like, no, this is not cool. Sorry, I'm a Karen today. I don't get it. I don't think it's necessary.
I think that it does kind of put the body as a commodity, and it makes it something to be looked at. Definitely.
Well, that's
something
the whole point of this issue, right?
Yeah.
Like, the whole point is to look at the body.
Yeah.
It's hard to miss. Yeah. It's right there.
But even if it's, like I said, the men and women are equal, it's going to be different for the women just because of the society that we live in.
Yeah.
So, like, there was this article that did basically a sociological deep dive on ESPN's body issue, and they said, while one sees an advertisement of a male athlete in his underwear and never questions his athletic ability, he or she may witness a female athlete in a swimsuit magazine and conclude that she is choosing modeling over being a serious athlete.
100% I could believe that.
Yeah.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
We see it all the time.
Yeah. No, 100%. And, like, they were, again, featuring female athletes that are typically not seen as quote unquote beautiful by our standards because they're like ripped, let's say. And so that shows, so they were more likely to feature female athletes like that and frame them as that, but maybe that shows a divide between, I don't want to say athleticism and femininity because you can definitely be both, but like these women I feel like are taken in and seen in a different way than the models are in Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, it's still two naked bodies or two scantily clad bodies, but they're definitely, like, these girls, yeah, some of them are just kind of lying there, but they're not all, like, on the beach.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And I get where you're coming from. I just don't think you have to be naked to prove that.
Yeah.
Like, there's other ways you can go about it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and some people thought that, although that they claimed for it to be a celebration of the athletic form, it's nothing more than a cleverly designed marketing campaign for athlete eye candy. And if ESPN was truly celebrating the athletic form, then the logical conclusion would follow that the athletes would be framed as such athletes. That's come from another
And that's exactly what I believe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you have to be naked to show that they're athletic.
Yeah.
I think it actually takes away from it. I think it makes them look unserious.
No, for sure. There's definitely some goofy pictures out there. Like, what does Tyler Sagan naked on a Zamboni have to do with him playing hockey?
Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, any of these photos, I would not have been like, oh my God, they're so athletic. They're so ripped. Like, to me, it actually does the opposite. It makes
you take them less seriously?
Oh, 100%. I think they're jokes in that respect. Like, I start laughing when I see this picture. And I don't go, oh my God, like they're ripped. Like, that must, they're benching, like, 350.
Yeah.
Like, or they must have a killer slap shot. Or I'd love to see them dunk a basketball. Like, I don't think these things. I start laughing. Because, let's be honest, even the photos that have to do with the sport have nothing to do with the sport. Or the athleticism that comes with the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know about you, but when I watch sports, like, more specifically when I'm watching, like I know hockey, so I'm looking for the cool shots, the beautiful goals. And I'm not talking about just, like, the wrist shot top shelf from the blue line. I'm talking about, like, those dirty little passes in front of the goalie that go in. Like, that's the stuff I watch for. That shows me that shows me your athleticism. Mm-hmm. You naked in front of a Zamboni does not. It makes me think you're, like, funny for doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would clown them.
No, I totally get that. I think that there's definitely goofier pictures, like Tyler Sagan's, and I mentioned Rob Gronkowski's photo shoot earlier. That one's definitely goofy.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles, it's like them standing naked with a basketball at the front. I mean,
the helmet.
A football,
helmet.
Is it a helmet?
Yeah, I think they had the helmets in. Yeah.
It's like
those ones are a bit goofy, but then there's really serious ones like Odell Beckham Jr. catching the ball, or I love the ones of Dwayne Wade as well. Like, those ones are, I think, they're a lot more serious. I think those ones actually are celebrating the athletic form. They're framed in that way, but then again, like the Gronkowski one, not really.
Like, Michael Thomas is just holding a basketball.
Yeah.
Christian Yelich, same thing, he's just holding a baseball bat. Like, what does that have to do with the sport? I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree. I don't
see the point in it.
I don't see the point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I'll give you the ESPN response to that. This is what they say. They say, each year we stop to admire the vast potential of the human form, to unapologetically stand in awe of the athletes who've pushed their physiques to profound frontiers, to imagine how it would feel to inhabit those bodies, to leap and punch and throw like a god. So I think that was a big thing, to imagine how it would feel to inhabit those bodies.
But that just brings me back to that point of people developing issues with their bodies.
Yeah.
Like, you're promoting this, okay, great, But what about those athletes who can't get into that godlike form?
Right.
What makes these guys different from a movie star in that respect? Right? Like Zac Efron, when he was in Baywatch, I don't know if you guys have seen like the interviews and stuff, but like getting into that Baywatch form took him almost a year.
Yeah.
He had a nutritionist, a trainer, like he was on a very strict diet.
Yeah.
And like I would say that his form in Baywatch was probably equivalent to all of them, if not most of them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, to get to that point, he was like, it was such a struggle. And I dealt with so many issues. There's so many actresses who deal with that.
Yeah, but at least they kind of need to be in this shape to perform their sport well.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. Like, there's some, like, I play hockey. I don't look like that.
Yeah.
I'm not an Olympic player. But I also have friends that are not. And I would consider them AA, AAA guys or AA girls that play hockey that don't look like that.
Yeah.
What is an athlete supposed to look like? Who defines that?
I think that ESPN's trying to define it with.
But why do you need to define it? Like there's absolutely no reason to define what an athlete should look like. What makes you different than from any other magazine? What makes this different from when somebody tries to define what a girl's supposed to look like? It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I wouldn't buy a magazine. I wouldn't buy a swimsuit model cover because I think it's, in my personal opinion, I don't think it's, again, necessary to have that on a front page to attract. And the response would be, well, we're doing it because people will buy it. People like that. They want to buy that.
Yeah.
But why? Because you set that standard.
Yeah.
Guys buy it for God knows what reason. They fantasize over stuff like that. Or whatever the right word is, but I do not.
Yeah. I mean, that even ties into, there was somebody from the Bleacher Report, a man who was talking about Misha Tate and her appearance in The Body Issue, and this is what he said, Misha Tate's appearance in The Body Issue is a great way to capture the attention of those perhaps not familiar with the UFC and other martial arts organizations. More importantly, it also highlights that women can participate in physical sports and still are beautiful doing so. Which that's obviously concerning because the emphasis is again on that, yeah, she's an athlete, but she's still pretty, so it's okay that she's an athlete. And you can still be an athlete but still be pretty, which is at the end of the day the most important thing. He literally said more importantly.
But that's what I'm saying though, right? Like, why are you defining what an athlete is supposed to look like?
Because then you'll get people forming opinions like this. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I think it's his own personal issue and that society just needs to change, so that's not automatically the first thing where his mind goes.
Not. Society's not going to change. That's like, let's be so for real.
Yeah.
We've been living in this world for God knows how many years and decades and centuries, and that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Like, look at if you go into any art museum.
Yeah.
And you look at those naked statues and paintings. I hate those. They drive me absolutely bonkers. I don't understand what the need is for that in an art museum. Yeah. There's so many great paintings. Why does that painting have to be there? There's a whole section for the naked paintings.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh my God, that's a 15th century this and this painting. And they're fangirling over it. And I don't get it. Maybe this is just a me thing. This is a me problem. And I need to figure out why. But if you bring an average person into that museum, they're not going to the naked painting section. I promise.
I think that it's just, I don't think it's something that should be, I don't want to say shied away from. I understand if nudity, because I feel uncomfortable with, I guess, nudity too, but it's like, I still understand that, like, for your example, that's a piece of art. And with this, it's still a really creative photograph.
I think it's a very creative photograph, but I think it would still be creative with their clothes on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess the main point of it is that they're naked, because these athletes can do photo shoots anywhere, but they're not doing naked photo shoots anywhere. So this it's the nudity that is supposed to make them stand out.
Well, you said it earlier, but it's a marketing tactic. This is a marketing tactic.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with promoting body image, whatever else, whatever BS they also said in their thing.
Yeah.
I do not believe that it was their intention. Their intention is naked people sell stuff. Sex sells. Yeah. Let's be so for real.
Yeah.
Which, if you saw a picture of Zac Efron half naked, you would walk into that movie. I know I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. How many times do you see, oh my god, this character was in it, I'm going to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Right? Sex sells. That's why this is a thing. And that's why eventually in 2019 when people were like, this is not right, this is not normal, it's getting canceled, that it got canceled. Because Karens like me were like, this is not cool. Yeah. I'm a very indifferent person in terms of most things. I don't think this is cool. I don't like it. I just, and you'll know, like when I talk about my favorite one, you can't even tell she's naked. Yeah. In the sense that, like, it looks so natural. Like, if there was more stuff like that, 100% I agree with you. I think this is a creative way to do this. Mm-hmm. But it's not. 90% of the photos are of them literally naked. Some of them you can even see some side boob. Like, you can see stuff. Yeah. It's not like you can't. They literally cover, like, 3% of the body.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And, yeah, that was the point. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into that. What was your favorite picture?
I gotta go with Lakey Pedersen. Mm-hmm. She is a pro surfer. Mm-hmm. And the way the photo was taken, there's like a wave and her surfboard's there and her legs are there. So you can you can see her legs, but not really.
Yeah, like you can't see her butt at all.
No.
You can't see her boobs at all.
No, you just see like her back. Yeah. Like a little bit. Yeah. I would, of these photos, this is a more modest photo. Yeah. So I liked this one. Yeah. And then in terms of like creativity, also 2019, Amanda Nunes, the UFC fighter. Mm-hmm. So it's basically, like, you can barely tell what's going on. All you see is her with a ponytail, and she has her belt on both shoulders. Yeah. So you can see a little bit of her belly button, but that's it. You can't see anything else because of the lighting. Like, that's a creative way of doing. You want to do stuff like this? Great. Mm-hmm. That's a creative way of doing it without seeing the entire body. With it still celebrating, like, the sport and the athleticism, if you want to call it that. Yeah. What about you? What were your favorites?
Well, I think that my favorite photo shoot was Caitlin Ohashi's. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I know I've talked about her earlier, but she was somebody that's been really open about her body image issues. So for her to do this photo shoot and show it off, it just made me really proud of her and really happy to see that she felt comfortable enough doing this. I just thought her pictures were really cool as a concept as well. There's some of her on the beach where one she's just jumping, but there's other ones where she is doing more athletic poses. Some in a studio where she's like, you can tell she's on the beam, or she's doing some moves that she would typically do on the floor, some really cool jumps. So I just love the pictures. I think they're really cool. So hers was my fave, but shout out to Amanda Avora and Mark Ladwig, who are a figure skating duo.
I saw that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I loved their pictures as well. The black and white I thought was just so nice, and then the pictures were so just dramatic and beautiful. I thought, so yeah, those ones were all my favorite. Yeah.
I guess this wraps up. Mm-hmm. This wraps up the episode, and unfortunately our season. Yeah. It's crazy how 8 episodes kind of just flew by like that.
Yeah, they really did. Yeah.
We are so excited that you joined our little debrief family. Yeah. Our debrief pod. Yeah. And thank you guys for listening. Yeah. And keep up with the debrief, because there's some exciting new stuff coming around the corner. Mm-hmm. We have some projects underway, and potentially a new season. Yeah. That might be released soon as well.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Summer Hashmi, joined by my co-host,
Sophia Palumbo.
And this has been The Debrief.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
And gents.